Urgent tone. In the Malda district of West Bengal, a mob aggressively encircled 7 judicial officers. The crowd closed in, blocking their exits and creating an immediate physical standoff. These officials were prevented from leaving and held against their will for nearly 9 hours. They were essentially trapped by the very public they were sent to serve. This happened in Malda, a district that shares a lengthy and highly porous border with Bangladesh. The geography here makes issues of citizenship and voting rights extremely sensitive. During those 9 hours, the state police did not intervene to disperse the crowd or rescue the officials. It eventually took a late-night operation by Central Armed Police Forces to extract them safely. The total absence of local law enforcement meant that federal officers were left completely unprotected in a volatile environment. So, what exactly were these judges doing to provoke such a hostile reaction? And does a ruling this severe mean the ruling government could lose control of the state? The officers were in Malda to execute a Special Intensive Revision, or SIR, a nationwide directive issued by the Election Commission of India. The objective of an SIR is straightforward administrative hygiene. It ensures electoral rolls are accurate by verifying the identities of listed voters and removing the names of the deceased or foreign nationals. This document shows the type of dense electoral rolls under review. In West Bengal, the sheer volume of data was staggering, with approximately 1.6 million names flagged for verification in the Malda district alone. Processing millions of flagged names requires time and scrutiny. The massive scale of these deletions created immediate public suspicion and anxiety about who was being removed and why. The West Bengal state government actively opposed the SIR process. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee and her administration began criticizing the revision in public forums. A specific rumor took hold. The public was told this routine verification was actually a backdoor attempt to enforce the National Register of Citizens, designed to intentionally delete a specific minority community from the voter base. The 7 judicial officers were actually deployed by the central government to cross-check the data, hear objections, and ensure no legitimate voter was unfairly deleted. Yet the public, primed by fear, saw these exact protectors as the perpetrators. Because the authorities failed to clearly explain the verification process, misinformation filled the void. Political rhetoric easily weaponized a confused public, allowing mob rule to override standard legal procedures. Intimidating judges crosses a specific constitutional line. The Supreme Court characterizes the incident as a direct violation of Article 21. The constitutional protection of life and personal liberty for the officers involved. It also threatens the basic structure doctrine of the Indian Constitution. Free and fair elections are foundational to the Republic, and if the integrity of the rolls is attacked, the entire democratic process is compromised. The state government has a positive obligation to protect election officials. When it fails to do so, the justice delivery system cannot function. With the Supreme Court explicitly calling this a breakdown of law and order, the immediate question is whether this triggers Article 356, commonly known as President's Rule. The legal answer is no. A single instance of severe mob violence does not automatically justify taking over a state's administration. Imposing Article 356 requires a continuous, documented failure of governance. It generally demands a refusal by the state to follow Supreme Court orders, and it heavily relies on a formal report from the state governor recommending federal intervention. West Bengal is not under immediate threat of President's Rule. However, the 9 hours in Malda demonstrate how quickly administrative processes can be derailed when political narratives convince a crowd to overpower the state.